I was looking up what shoulders represent as we move forward with healing your shoulder. Do you know the affirmation to heal it?
I do. It's on my wall. I've been saying it now for 3 weeks. It's been on my wall. So it's something I say every morning. I wake up and I say it every single morning. I have all of my affirmations. I have them in Post-it notes. I have like this, I don't know, this like thing that goes down beside my wall, this, I don't know, archway kind of. And I have Post-it notes on both sides. So I start over here, and then I work over here, and then I take my deep breaths, and then I say the little affirmation for forgiveness, and then I move forward with my day. And I'm like, let's do this. Oh, it's going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine. It's everything that I've asked for, and the universe is protecting me and loving me. And I needed to be a little bit more understanding of how things have to happen, because once again, just like your gift, healing comes in layers. We can't learn how to utilize our empathy better unless we go through another layer. We can't understand our psychic abilities better unless we go through a layer. We can't understand, how to talk to medium or do mediumship or channel angels or any of those things. You have to level up every single time, because if you're in a state, Mandy talks to the highest beings, And if she hadn't leveled up in her life, she would not be able to communicate with those beings. She would be channeling lower vibrational beings. And if you truly want to utilize those gifts, not only for yourself, but to help other people on Earth, which is really what they're for, you really have to get through those healing, and you have to understand those layers as they come to the surface, and you really have to get up and grow. That's what it's about. And growth is funky. It's stupid, and sometimes it makes no sense. But we have to be patient and take that anxiety as it comes and understand that sometimes that anxiety is actually a gift given to us in a different way, so we can see things differently. Breathe through it. Be cool. It's all happening for a reason. Why are you anxious?
My favorite with growth is the saying, even a seed has to break apart before it can grow. You break apart, you start off muddy in the dark, not knowing where you're at, and you work your way up. And as you get up, then you realize you need to find nutrients as you're growing your roots, and you need to water yourself and find the sunlight and all of that stuff. And that's where, when you level up, when you're on the spiritual path, you do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, you do better. Dr. Maya Angelou. Because it's true, like your higher self holds you accountable. And if you know like certain food isn't going to serve you, if you know certain activities or ways of being or whatever that is, and a lot of times it's tendencies that we don't even realize that we might be really passive aggressive in our relationship, not even know what the heck that means or what's happening or what we're doing. Like this is the shadow work, to be like, okay, let me look at this different perspective and be like, all right, let me call myself out on that. And then forgiving ourselves is the hardest part. We operate in a lot of guilt and shame, criticism, fear. We're constantly, looking back at ourselves and critiquing it and, feeling guilty often. And so when you can meet yourself with love and ease and grace and forgiveness and say, okay, well, now I know better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to love that old version of myself who didn't know better then. I have a prayer I say every day. That which I need to know, from Louise Hay, that which I need to know will be revealed to me. Because this place is constantly growing and changing and ebbing and flowing, and we have all these opportunities to level up all the time, but we need to do that in our own beautiful divine way. And just as Crystal was talking about earlier, like with the polarity of this planet, it is important to have conflict sometimes. Now I think we're going to get more and more peaceful as we keep evolving as a species. And I really like looking at the tribes in Africa that like the women go out and meditate and like learn a baby's soul song before it's born. And then when it's born, they sing it, it's soul song. And then as the baby's growing up, they always sing it, it's soul song. And then every time the baby screws up in the village or, is supposed to get in trouble, the punishment is it's got to stand in the middle of the circle and listen to everybody sing it, it's soul song, so that it remembers who it is at its core at a soul level. And so I see us evolving more towards that. Even then, these magical, spiritual, conscious, parents are still going to have kids who are going to touch a fire to learn that they're not going that they, it's going to hurt if they touch a fire. So, so they'll get burned, but it's out of like a lesson. And so there is always going to be a little bit of pain and a little bit of polarity, but I think the severity of it is going to keep easing closer to peace. And that's all of us keep incarnating here to do. But there will always be some sort of conflict within you in order to grow and in order to experience all of these things here.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, what was your prayer that you say to yourself, or your saying that you say? Is it that which I need to know will come to me?
Will be revealed to me.
I write everything that you say down because I'm going to put that on my
That's what
wall.
we say. That's one of the that
Of
which I
course it is.
revealed to me, and I was like, that resonated. I'm gonna put that one in my book, in my
I think
toolbox.
it's like I don't know why I feel like we're all learning communication almost for the first time right now. It's so crazy to me because you have all these, if you just watch, if you're a people watcher, and I know many of you are, especially the people that I see down here, because I know a lot of you are empathic people, and empathic people tend to be people watchers because it's too people-y for us to get involved in nonsense. And so a lot of us tend to be people watchers, but a lot of us tend to also like feel like we have to react once we're backed into that corner. And so communication isn't necessarily something that we all have been taught to do. And so I'm really seeing communication being one of the things, I guess, that we're all learning how to do together right now in this time frame or in this time space. And you have to communicate with yourself. Like if you can't communicate with yourself, just like Mandy said, when she wakes up in the morning, she says that to herself. How important is that? It's important to her because she knows that that's something that's going to help her affirm to herself today. Hey, Mandy, you're going to be awesome, and everything that you need to know will be revealed in the way in which it needs to be revealed, which means she's in the right place at the right time every given day, and she's in this space. She's in her now. She's in her creation mode, and she is ready to receive, and she's telling not only herself that, but she's also telling the universe that. And that communication is so important because a lot of us have learned to stop communicating with ourselves. We don't break through those layers and we don't pull anything out to the surface, and then we find ourselves lost because we don't know what the heck we want. We don't know what the heck we want because we aren't communicating what we want, and we've lost ourselves along the way because we're too busy focusing on this situation or this person or this craziness or this tornado that's taking place or this chaos. We never take the time to really fully dive in deep and see what we need for ourselves, and communication is part of the biggest thing in growth. And so that's one of the things that I tell people. First off, have that open conversation with yourself. Don't forget you. Communication and growth doesn't take place outside of you all the time. It takes place inside first. And if you can't communicate with yourself what your own needs are, because self-soothing, man, you know, when we get angry and we get frustrated, we don't know how to self-soothe, which is why we get so angry, and that's why we blow up at people in situations. We don't know how to self-soothe. And so taking those cleansing breaths and recentering ourselves and calling ourselves back home into our space in that moment and realizing, hey, I'm good. Like, I'm not in imminent danger of mutilation or death in this moment. I'm okay. So it's cool. My life is good. Yes, this is happening and this sucks, but am I in constant like death mode right now? No, I'm cool. I'm here. Yeah, it sucks, but I'm gonna get through it, just like I've gotten through other things. Do I want to get through it? No, I didn't really think I needed this right now, but apparently they think I do. So what can I learn? And so take that moment to self-soothe, bring yourself back to your reality, your center, and then try to question yourself on what it was that created this space to begin with. Or maybe you didn't create it. Maybe you're just saying that you want to grow, you want to heal, and parts of your growth and your healing is to learn how to have boundaries. And so somebody's coming into your life that's causing you to reflect on boundaries different. We're asking for it in some form or fashion in every sense of the means, and we have to learn how to communicate with ourselves what love looks like, what peace looks like, what does tranquility feel like to you. What does it feel like? You know, open that kundalini up and figure out where you are in that space and really feel that love and be proud of yourself, and remember that one space inside of yourself that really you felt like you were awesome and nothing could touch you. That's going to raise those vibrations. Love yourself. Communicate that growth to you. When you get through it, I had a hell of a thing, man. Somebody, this whole week, Mandy, was crazy. I had somebody hack into my PayPal account, and so lots of money is gone. And she did a good job. I got to tell you, I could be angry at her, but I'm going to tell you, I feel like I can't be angry at her because she does good. Like, she may be somebody who is like a klepto and stealing people's stuff, but at the same time, I got to give the woman props. She should be working for the government because she was good at what she did. She covered her tracks really, really well. And so, but I'm sitting here also saying, Crystal, you asked to grow. And in that growth means also communicating differently with people. These people on the other end of the phone don't have a clue what it is that happened, and so me losing my shit with them isn't going to fix anything. It's not going to, yeah, you're mad and you're frustrated, but really, is that mad and frustration going to solve your problem? No. So handle it different. Do it different. Be different. Take this as an opportunity. You can be frustrated that it took place, but at the end of the day, it's all going to be taken care of. The money's going to come back. It's just money. It is what it is. It's all going to be fine. And so there's really no reason for you to take out your bull crap on everybody else because you're insecure about what your financial stability looks like in that moment, which is easily what I could have done. But I didn't. And then afterwards, I was like, yeah, I actually high-fived myself. I was like, that was a great conversation, girl. Like, you did good. Good job.
That's work, choosing our responses to things. It's like, that sucks. I just got stolen from. Like, this isn't great, but what can I do? I broke my windshield the other day, and I was with a bunch of the sea goddesses, and they were like, oh my God, aren't you upset? And I'm like, nah, it's all good. I'm like, it'll get replaced, whatever. I have full coverage. Like, I pay for this every month. I'm sure it'll be a cheap deductible. And it's actually, I have no deductible, and they're coming here just to do it, to fix it. So I'm like, all right, great. And like, I could have like gotten all worried and worked up and this and that, or waited to like deal with it because you didn't know what's going to happen or how much it's going to cost or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just rip this Band-Aid off and just go for it. And I'm fine. I'm safe. I'm breathing right now. That's just it. And when you take time to heal adrenal fatigue, which so many of us have right now, it's pretty rare if you don't these days, the way our matrix was created and infiltrated and all the energy that's pumped into it. But it's so amazing what happens when you let yourself just kind of rest into that and let yourself start to receive and like choose your responses and realize that actually you can sense, you can, if you, once you get to total peace. And for like a whole year, my mantra was like, I am peace, I am peace. Because I was so sick of being at war with myself. I was so sick of being at war with everyone and everything outside of me and what was happening in the world and all the things and letting it, you know, take up all this precious energy in my body. Felt like a hurricane. And so I chose the word like I am peace. That was my mantra for a whole year. And it really started to help. And like then I really started to tune in and be like, oh, I know the difference between when I'm working myself up about like fear of something outside of me, or if I'm going to be in like serious stranger danger, something's attacking, like a lion's coming to get me. You will feel that intuitively. You get so much more sensitive. The more peaceful you get and the more you calm down your body, then you're like, you feel everything.
I love that. I love it. I don't know. I think you have taught me a lot of that. I really think that you specifically, I literally sat with you 5 or 6 times this week and was like, okay, so I just want to thank Mandy. I hope you surround her in a bubble of white light and protection and just let her know how much I love her.
Oh, I love you.
It helped me so much kind of utilize and understand where that growth lies. And I knew it before. Pat is wonderful. Basically, talking about that book, like again, Pat is an amazing, wonderful woman. And she teaches people so much, but I really think that sometimes, you know, you need to see things differently. And so where Pat teaches, that's wonderful. But I think I needed something different. You know, for this next level in my life and the healing that was going to come forward, I needed something different. And that's kind of where you came in. And it was like, okay, so Mandy's unofficially my mentor. She doesn't know it yet, but I watch her closely. And so she mentors the crap out of me so much so she comes with Louise Hay and Dreams and helps me heal. So, I mean, it just is what it is. And just listening to her bring her knowledge to the surface and communicate that healing in ways that we understand, it really helps us all. Because I feel like all of us, there's, once again, I know through my clients, I know through you guys who are watching this, so many times we don't really know how to actually heal. It's not a pill. It's not a quick fix. It is something that happens throughout our whole entire life, and we're always going to be going through it. And so remembering that is kind of like the next time something big happens to you, instead of being frustrated, you could be like, oh, the universe sees me. My light is shining a little bit bright, and that means I'm heading in the right direction. Thanks, y'all. I'm doing great. And so there's just a different way of seeing it. And I know that that's what it is. I made this amazing post to guides. I love guides. I made this amazing post through them last week on My Spirit Speaks, and they talked about how our growth is the same as construction. It's the same as building another house. Like, you know, in construction, there's a mess. There's a whole slew of things that come to the surface and that. But if we if we get what we want instantly, which is like putting a house on the structure without understanding if the structure is stable enough to continue the growth, then we're going to have instability issues much like a house or much like a building. And so they have to make sure that our stability and our, like, the foundation in us is prepared for the growth that we keep asking for. And so will the growth come to you? Absolutely. But you also have to understand that all of these things that keep coming to the surface, it's really nothing. It's just causing you to be stronger, so you know that your foundation is strong enough to handle the growth that they're going to be presenting to you in a different way. And so keep getting through it. You're asking for it. They're building it. They're giving you that structure. They're giving you that sturdiness, and they're giving you the ability to handle every situation that comes to you in the best way possible, because not everything in life deserves anxiety or a fight. Like, very little actually deserves that. It's
Very little deserves that.
Very, very little is what I've learned specifically, because that used to be my life. It was always, that energy influx, which creates that adrenal fatigue. And I do have to thank, hi, is it Marapia? Hi. I'm so sorry if I got that wrong.
Yeah.
I had asked about adrenal fatigue, and I did get clove oil, and I have been placing it on my jawline, and it has been amazing. I'm still waiting on my cinnamon oil, and I also have ordered some teas, because I really believe that most of what I'm dealing with that is causing the flares that I'm having is actually adrenal fatigue, because I'm not taking care of my energy influxes when things happen, and I'm like, yo, Crystal, do it different. How you doing?
Something's not working. If you want to change, you got to do something different, right? Yeah. I didn't want to drink celery juice every morning, but man, once I started to, it changed my whole body. It flushed out my gout crystals and helped support my adrenals and my liver. And then you just start craving things. Like I was drinking nettle tea all the time and thyme tea and just different things that I wouldn't usually like want or crave. But all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I can't get this down fast enough. Dandelion tea. And it's like, whoa, because your body needs it, and it'll tell you what exactly it needs to heal if you let it, if you give it the opportunity, if you just sit with some foods and see what happens. But our foods and herbs really can heal us, especially from adrenal fatigue, as well as controlling as much as possible our emotions and our energy in motion and seeing what that looks like. It's not easy. This is where the work happens. And yes, there's certain things that we can manifest as instantly, but I think you got to get to a certain space in your body, in your vessel, in order to be at peace and receive. And once you are able to do that, then you can manifest more instantly with a lot of things. But finding that peace and that balance within yourself opens up a whole new world.
Absolutely. Sophia, it's funny that you said that, because my son, I think it was my son, he said something about that. Like, it's like cleaning your room. When you start to clean your room,
I love that.
You have all this stuff that's like, it just looks overwhelming. There's all this stuff. And then you start picking up stuff, and then you get even more overwhelmed because you've uncovered this stuff. And then you go into your closet and you have uncovered this stuff, and there's all this crap. And he was like, that's probably what it's like. That's probably what healing is like. It's getting through each thing at a time, and then starting to realize that maybe it doesn't look like you're making that big of a difference, but you really are. And so keep going through it and keep getting there, and you're going to start to really see, all of the things that are taking place in your life are not only taking place for a reason, but you're going to start being able to actually put the two and two together and really give yourself a high five. I fist bump God a lot. I'm like, boom, we got it this time. To everybody, whoever's there, I don't care who it is, but receive it. We did it. Crystal's good. You guys were amazing. All power to you guys. Because without my team, without that team, I would not be here. And I am just so grateful for every single spirit, guide, angel, creator, ancestor, whoever gives me the power to see, understand, grow. I'm so grateful for every single one of them. And once you call them in, they won't step away. You just got to be patient with them too, as much as they're patient with us.
there's like a lot of different cultures and tribes and lineages and whatnot that say you get to a certain point in your own ascension or lifetime, maybe like mid-30s, something like that, where you're really able to start connecting with spirit on a different level. I think it has a lot to do with like how far you come in your healing journey, because you really can invite it in at any time. But then there's also, I think, sacredness with certain milestones you go through where you invite in new members of your team and whatnot. And it's so cool because, like Crystal was saying, once you really do invite it in, once you really accept it, believe it, know it, it's more of a knowing. You're like, oh, that's happening. And the truth vibrates as totally different within your body. So it's something you actually feel. But once you start accepting it and saying, thank you, this is amazing. Thank you, angels, for showing me this. Thank you, Sheet Team, for showing me this. Then all of a sudden it comes up more and more and more, and life gets really beautiful.
Hi, Holly. See, it was a good day. See, I knew I didn't want to. This morning didn't have internet, and I was like, crap. And then you sent me a text, and you were like, so are we still on? Are you good? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have internet. And I was like, you know what? Bite the bullet. I'm doing it. With or without this internet, I'm doing it. If I have to sit outside of a Big B and use their internet, I'm doing it. And so I was like, yes, we're doing it. And it's a great show, and I'm grateful to be here with all of you people and Mandy, because I just think that this is an amazing space that we're creating, and I'm so grateful to be here. Last week was crazy, but it wasn't bad. And I'm grateful to be here today because we're doing good.
And you're on we're in the Lionsgate portal. This is the time where we pretty intense full moon, and now we're coming up to the new moon here, which is great. And Lionsgate, it's about really stepping into your authenticity, letting yourself really reveal who it is you want to be in this next chapter and co-create. And at the same time, Chiron, as it does every year, goes retrograde, which is, they call it the wounded healer, but it could also be an empowered healer. It can also be reflection of your shadow aspects and what needs to be healed. So it's been, I'm sure if you guys want to comment on it, so many people have had a really hard time sleeping. There's been crazy activity in dreams in the astral plane and visions and lots of things coming through for people in meditation, tons of technology disruptions. I'm literally getting a download right now. I feel my ear ringing. Like, it's just, the veil is open, it's thin, and it's about all of us stepping in to who we are right now and into our power. And they're going to show us that in any way we can, whether it's dreams or visions or meditations or the beautiful signs, the 1111s, the 111s, the songs, the, whatever it is, it's going to come in to help guide you towards your path. And with that, don't forget, other things got to get a little chaotic and fall away. It's that crumbling tower. It's that, oh yeah, that's not serving me anymore. Just like Crystal was saying, well, that wasn't working, so let's do it different. Let's look at it a different way and see what happens. Oh yeah, you guys are commenting. This is so awesome. Sophia said, no wonder I had crazy dreams this past week. Yeah, sister, it's wild out there right now, but it's good, and we're doing a lot of good for ourselves and for the planet and the multiverse. And then Glenda said, oh my goodness, all of that, headaches, ear ringing, seeing and hearing different things. Yeah, sister, we're just upgrading right now. There's so much that's coming in for all of us. That's another opportunity to practice gratitude. And you wake up, you're like, okay, I'm tired of shit. This wasn't fun. I didn't get as much sleep, but okay, I got to see this, and this dream came in. And I don't know what that's about, but okay, thank you. Thank you for letting it happen. Every time I get an ear ring or something, I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm receiving more information coming in. Heather's been waking up at 2 a.m. daily. A lot of 2 a.m.s, 3 a.m.s, and 4 a.m.s. I've been hearing that. Sophia said, so many dreams. Where am I being tested? My childhood traumas resurfacing. When childhood traumas resurface, guys, always remember too, it's because you've done enough work to create a safe enough environment to look at it. It's just coming up because it's safe enough to say, I love you. You were innocent in that situation. Your parents, whoever it was, whatever happened, were doing the best they can at that time. If somebody was mean to you or abusive to you or whatever it was, it's an opportunity to say that wasn't a reflection on you. It doesn't take away from your worth, and you get to love and forgive yourself in that moment. And then the whole point of all this trauma, childhood trauma coming up, is just to restore our innocence and find our light and get back to purity and who we were before where those experiences happened. So you might get some past life flashbacks. Might get a lot of memories to childhood. It might be something simple like walking through a field or eating a strawberry or something that brings back your childlike innocence. And that's what a lot of this Lions portal does for us, is it reveals that. It reveals our most authentic self and who we are deep down there.
So all of you. And then Denise, I love that you're getting dreams, because I know for the longest time you were not getting dreams. And then you're getting ready to take that next step. Denise is one of the only people that I allow to Reiki me, because her energy is so magical. I absolutely love this woman. Without her, my energy would be crap over the past 5 years. So I am grateful for her.
We need our team.
But I also, Stacy, I had to respond. Like, you made me laugh. I don't know if you saw. You're so cute. So you said no wonder why the do not disturb hasn't been working. So first off, I'm going to say that you have not quite opened the door to your guides yet. They're winking at you. You have not told them what you want. They've asked you to tell them what you want in all of this, and they're making me feel like you have not opened that door. So what do you want your gifts to look like? What do you want them to feel like? And so do not disturb, what do you mean by do not disturb? What do you mean? Did you say I don't want to be disturbed between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m.? Were you specific? Because they're making me feel like you aren't very specific with your manifestations and what you're asking, and so they're asking you to be more clear, and that's why some of these disturbances are coming through, because you aren't giving them the time frame. Also, I want everybody to know who is an empath on steroids, or just an empath, or gifted in any way. Water's going to be your best friend right now. Because these things are causing us to shift. There's a lot of universal things, just like she talks about, and so we really need that water intake. And so make sure you really hydrate yourself. And also, one of the things that has worked for me, because I used to get really anxious when I did not get sleep, Spirit has taught me that we don't need sleep, we need rest. And so most of us, if you have ever meditated successfully, you really re-energize yourself greatly in meditation, in a good meditation, and you're not necessarily sleeping in meditation. And so what I do instead on those nights where I'm feeling like, I feel like I've got a beehive taking place around me and all of my energy's nutty and I know that it's going to be one of those nights, what I do is I take some cleansing breaths. I thank the universe for surrounding me with some angels to help work on each one of I ask them, actually, this is exactly what I ask them. I thank them to help balance, clear, cleanse each one of my chakras and make sure that they are spinning in the correct way. I thank them to declutter anything that may be going on in my energy field that is keeping me from being able to see, receive, and understand. But then also on top of that, I also thank them for coming into my life and making sure that I get the rest that I need to make sure that I can have enough energy to get through my next day. Because as you guys open up and as you guys utilize spirit more, they're going to be able to respond to you and get to you in the moments of rest more than they are when you're alive, especially if you've got a lot more going on in your daytime where you're unable to connect, receive, and receive. So they're asking you to be open in some form or fashion. And when we're awake, we're busy, and we've got this to do, and then we've got kids, and we've got to make dinner, and then we've got a husband, and then we've got this, and blah, blah, blah. When are they supposed to connect with us? Well, they have to connect with us somehow because you're asking them to connect. And so understand that that's why it takes place at night. We get those downloads because that's when we're the most receptive. And so just thank them very much for making sure that they're giving you the rest that you need to make it through your day, while also allowing you to be open enough to receive all those downloads that are currently taking place, or messages or understandings or whatever it is. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this in my head. I do that very frequently. Amber, I had a dream that my guides were talking to me and they were upset that I was not listening to them. Mention jumper cables. Any thoughts? I have been open to them, but I have a hard time hearing them. I'm going to say that I feel like they were probably joking with you. Because guides are snarky. My guides are very snarky, but it's also my energy field. I deal better with sense of humor and funny, and I make lots of jokes in every situation. I'm really not a serious gal. And so your guides probably were talking to you. And actually, I don't think this is necessarily for you. They're making me feel like there are situations taking place in your life that you don't really have control over. And so what they're doing is they're making me feel like they're asking you to make a decision regarding those situations. Not necessarily for you specifically. Guides don't get mad at us, guys. I know there's a lot of memes, but guides don't get frustrated or mad at us. They kind of are like, okay, well, if this is what they want to do, or if they're not ready, this is what it is. I'm stuck right now. I hope you guys can hear me. But they're making me feel like they don't really get mad. They kind of are like, oh, geez, it's Mary and Joseph. We've told her 500 times, and this is where we're going. Okay, that's cool. We'll sit in this corner and we'll wait. We'll just do this for right now. It's fine. Do your thing. You free will. You've got it. Let us get in the way of that. But at the same time, they don't get angry at us. So just remember that. You might be harder on yourself right now than what your guides are. They just want you to make a decision. They want you to make a choice because you've been asking them to give you the signs. They've given you the signs. You know the decision and the choice that needs to be made. So jump.
Love that. And sometimes guides are really literal. Like if you don't have jumper cables in your car, make sure you do. They might be for you or for someone else, whoever. And maybe it's just about, feeling in tune with your own energy and making sure you are plugging into what you need to plug into to feel happy and full and fulfilled right now. And like you have life force. So it is always really important to just, see it with a grain of salt. And then also sometimes you're like, yeah, well, do I have jumper cables? Maybe that could come in handy. And if you already do, then great, you're good to go. So I like that. And then I saw Glenda commented and said, Kundalini makes my ears perk up every time I hear the word, like a puppy being asked if they want to go outside. I love that. But I don't know why. Meditation is hard for me. Meditation it's not an easy thing because you got to quiet down all those thoughts. And the thing is, it's not like once you get really good at meditating, you're able to just be at peace and be calm. And thoughts will come through, but it's about just letting them go through and not attaching to them. So what's for dinner tonight? Instead of like, oh, well, I could do this or that, or maybe I should put something in a crock pot and I got to go to the store and get this and do that. It's saying as soon as that what's for dinner tonight comes in, it doesn't matter. Let's let it go. Let's see what else comes in. And so it's just about finding stillness in your body. It's about finding peace. It's about shifting perspective. When you get open and clear enough, a lot of times other energies or entities will come in. But it's about just showing up. It's about devoting time to yourself and letting it be. There's all different kinds of meditations. You can do walking meditations and guided ones, and ones are just music or just chilling, whatever it is you want to do. And Kundalini is really magical because it's like this coil of life force that sits at our root chakra, and then it'll swirl up through our spine, basically energetically up through our crown chakra and connect us from our roots down to the heaven, down into the earth of the core, and then all the way up into the heavens. And it's something that we have had suppressed from us as a society because we're taught to guilt, shame, criticize, fear our sexuality from the time we're really young, and our sexuality is really connected. It's a huge part of our Kundalini. So a lot of times when people are doing yoga and meditation and they're trying to do all this breath work and connect with their Kundalini energy and help it to rise, a lot of times we have to go deep within and do shadow work and find out if we have any stored trauma there, if we have any fear or feelings around our sexuality or guilt or shame, because a lot of times that could suppress it a little bit. And then once we heal it and we're able to connect back in, it's really beautiful. I think our Kundalini energy is kind of like a beacon of light that shoots out from like the top of our crown and down through our root in order to connect us to our higher self and what's above and what's below, and help us to be our own individual sovereign beings from a very young age. But we haven't been taught that yet, and it's something we're all rediscovering together. We've known it from past lives and different dimensions, but we're rediscovering that now as humans. And there's some out there who do, and there's some out there who are still discovering it. And the more we heal that and invite it in and tune it in, it's going to light us up. So it's probably lighting you up, sister, because it's an opportunity to jump even deeper into your sovereignty and healing and connection and sacred divine union of your masculine and feminine. And it's also a potent life force energy that's going to help all of us to heal individually and heal the world. So it's a super magical energy we're working with that.
So I've got to go soon, but I wanted to get to Sophia. She said that since the last time she got a pendulum, and Mandy, this one's for you because I don't do pendulums. She said, how do I stay neutral to make sure the answers are her or not her instead of the pendulum? How does she do that?
So here's my pendulum. What I do, I carry. So now that you have a pendulum, I carry it with you all the time as much as possible. I keep mine in my bra a lot, my purse, just like really close to me. And my sign for neutral is a circle. So what I do is I just hold it up. Let's see, we'll go up here where hopefully everybody can see it. And I just try to be at peace, and I try to be like totally still. So right now, I'm just gonna take some breaths. I'm gonna let it be still, and then I'll ask my angels, "Are you with me at this time?" And they're saying yes, which moves it forward. Angels, can you please show me neutral? And neutral is like a nice circle for me. So I just hold it, this circle. Angels, can you show me yes? Yes, it'll go forward. Angels, can you please show me neutral? Thank you. And can you show me no? And then no goes like side to side for me, like back and forth. And so it's just more about just like sitting with it and giving yourself time with it and letting yourself become tuned to it and learning how to trust yourself more, because you are going to vibrate. You're a human, you're taking breaths. But when you get to this sense of peace, all of a sudden you're like, wow, this thing, there's more moving. This isn't me. Like, this is definitely some like higher energies coming in. So I just say, keep working with it, keep practicing with it, keep breathing, letting yourself feel calm and peace. And then just trusting, playing with it and trusting, letting the angels come in and letting yourself be a channel and a conduit, because we overthink it so quickly. We're like, I'm doing it, I'm not moving it, I am moving it. And really it's just about practicing it. And then you'll realize as you're talking or you're hanging out, sometimes I'll just be holding my pendulum now during my readings, and it'll just start going back and forth, yes or no things, just because I'm still holding on to it. And I'll be like, oh yeah, they're still with me. Like, this is amazing. And so there's just so many opportunities, but let yourself calibrate to it and let yourself learn from it and give spirit a chance to actually come through.
Sophia made me laugh. I love her. She was like, my poor
so
pendulum is in a drawer. I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, honey, it's got to be infused with your energy. It's just like tarot cards. We have to infuse those and touch those and make sure they're infused with our energy, and they belong to us like our crystals. So make sure that you're infusing them. I've always used my necklaces as pendulums because I wear them all the time. I do take them off, I take off my necklaces and I make sure that they get their time, and I put them in the full moons, and I make sure I cleanse them, and I do those things to refill them. But generally speaking, I use the necklaces that I wear as my pendulums, even though they like me. So, I mean, that's the thing. But I don't ask my angels to answer
my dog pendulum, Penny, but pendulum's her long name, has to go potty. So we have to get going too.
Okay, so we're going to say goodbye. Mandy Hun, where do people find you? How do they connect with you?
Yes, please like, share, follow, subscribe to Sea Goddess Healing Arts. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we have a website, SeaGoddessHealingArts.com. Lots of free resources, all of these YouTube shows that are coming at you now, once a week here with Crystal and many others. We've got if you're in the Atlantic City, New Jersey area, we have a drum circle coming up this weekend for the Lionsgate Portal on 8/8, and to honor the new moon. It's going to be incredible on Crystal's Beach. And we got a farmer's market coming up in a couple weeks at the Absecon Lighthouse. So if you're around, we would love to see you and love to connect. And if you are in the ethers or in spirit, we are certainly here online and would love to connect with you that way too. And what about you, Chris?
I am so happy you guys are on Crystal Beach. It's like there's a whole beach that I could just come and be like, it's my beach. I love that. I didn't know. I think you mentioned that before. I think you did. But how beautiful. I just love this space that you guys are creating. And I also didn't know that you guys had a YouTube yet. I will make sure that I myself subscribe to that. So you can find me at Mid-Mitten Medium. If you want to make an appointment, that's midmittenmedium.com. You can find me on YouTube at Spirit Speaks with Mid-Mitten Medium. And that's also what I am on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter, and I don't do anything on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram. Don't generally use that either. I am on TikTok, Mid-Mitten Medium. But I also take a break from that every now and then to make sure that I create a space for myself. I take me time and don't give all of my energy to everybody. So if you love me enough, follow me and subscribe to my channel. And thank you. Mandy, you're amazing. Thank you to all the people who watch. I appreciate all of you, and thank you to you guys that comment, because it makes our lives so much more awesome to be able to connect with you. That's why we do this. And so thank you all so very much.
Yes. Thank you, Crystal. Love you, honor you. Thank you to all of our listeners, whether you're listening now or in the future, in this present moment. We're sending you so much love, gratitude. Good night.
Have a good night, guys.